Question number 4, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Conservation. How could he say on 17 September 2013, quote, "I did not know that this draft submission even existed until this morning," close quote, when his weekly report from 29 July 2013 stated a submission should be lodged requesting that the Board request further information by way of an independent peer review of the proposed approach to nutrient management and the potential effect of the proposed nutrient limits and targets on the freshwater values in the Tukituki catchment.
Speaker.
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the member half quotes the weekly report. What actually said, and I quote, "The department is evaluating the proposed plan change and resource consents. The department's preliminary view is that a submission should be lodged to the plan changed." That does not say a draft submission had been prepared. I stand by my statement that I did not know that 34-page submission that was leaked existed until the 17th of September.
Supplementary question, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Why did he say to reporters on Thursday 19 September, quote, "There was no mention to me of a draft submission. I did not know of the existence of a draft submission," when the agenda for his meeting with officials on Monday 29 July outlined the submission's contents, he was briefed on it, he expressed concern about it, and he asked for a copy of it to be delivered to his office the next day. Didn't know about it.
Order. Honourable Dr Nick
Mr
Smith.
Speaker, the submission that was delivered to me the next day was radically different to the 34-page document that was leased. I can only quote Doris Johnson, who I do note members opposite said told the truth, when she said he never saw the draft submission that everyone's talking about.
Order. A point of order, Grant Robertson.
Speak to the answer from the Minister. I don't believe it addressed the question that the Honourable Ruth Dyson asked. Her question was very specific. He began to talk about other aspects of submissions, but not what she asked about.
On this occasion, I don't agree with the member. The question asked... Order. Otherwise, I'll be asking the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove to leave the chamber if I get an interjection like that again. The question asked, why did the Minister say to reporters on a particular day, and I think the answer given by the Honourable Dr Nick Smith adequately addresses the question. Further supplementaries? Supplementary question, supplementary question, Nikki Wagner.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister of Conservation, what advice has the Minister received on when the senior managers in DOC saw the leaked 34-page draft submission?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith. Order.
Mr Speaker, I am advised Doris Johnson, who was on leave prior to my meeting on the 29th of July, had not read the leaked 34-page draft submission at the time of my meeting. I can also quote from an email the next day from other senior managers, Mr Speaker, which I'm happy to table, that says this: "None of us have seen the submission or briefing." That's the day after my meeting. I was clearly not alone in not being aware of the leaked draft.
Supplementary question, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Did he or any of his staff have any discussions with officials from the Department of Conservation in relation to their submission between his meeting with officials on Monday 29 July, when the nitrate issue was going to be a key feature of the submission, and Wednesday 31st of July, when he received the final submission with all the water quality issues removed?
Honourable
Speaker?
Dr Nick Smith.
No.
Supplementary question, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Did he have any part in the decision to establish the Government Fund for Irrigation Infrastructure, from which $1.67 million has been granted for the Ruotaniwha Dam project?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, for 3 years I was the Minister for the Environment. I had an intense interest in water issues. Included in that was achieving the national policy statement on freshwater I had no direct involvement in the issues in relation to the investments around irrigation. That was led by the Minister of Primary Industries, who's currently the Speaker.
Supplementary question, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Does he agree with the comment in the briefing note to him of Wednesday 31st of July, which notes, quote, "The Department is not submitting on the one nutrient management approach as the conservation values of the Tukituki catchment do not justify the resource investment required," in light of the fact that the submission on that very point had already been written?
Okay.
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, in the substantive briefing that I received on the 31st of July, there were two substantive reasons that were given for not proceeding with a submission on the plan change issues around nutrients. The first of those was that DOC accepted that the NIWA science was robust, and the NIWA science was different to what some staff in DOC had. The second was that the DOC officials was that the amount of resource, the amount of money that would need to be spent to contest the NIWA position, no, because they would require witnesses and evidence, would be larger than what could be justified.
Supplementary question, Nikki Wagner.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister of Conservation, when does the Minister believe the Department changed its position and why?
Speaker.
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the key DOC staff member who wrote the weekly report with the preliminary view saying we should lodge a submission on nutrient issues wrote that on Thursday the 25th of July. On Friday the 26th of July, he attended a full day's meeting convened by the Hawke's Bay Regional Council with all the scientists and advisors from NIWA and the like. At the end of that meeting on the Friday, he told the Regional Council that DOC's submission was likely to focus only on the inundation issue and not the plan change issue over nutrients, subject to senior manager's approval. That's 3 days before my meeting. On Tuesday the 30th of July, an email states that he and the other planning managers, and I quote, are not convinced we should be submitting on the plan change. And that was confirmed as the Department's position the following day.
Supplementary question, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Does he agree with the comment in the briefing note to him of Wednesday 31st of July, which notes the Department is not submitting on the one nutrient management approach as the conservation values in the Tukituki catchment do not justify the resource investment required, given that the Tukituki catchment and estuary is a significant conservation area in the regional coastal plan, is noted as one of the areas with important natural and historic values in the Hawke's Bay Conservancy coastal environment. It is a recommended area for protection under the Department's Protected Natural Areas program due to its ecological and biodiversity values, and it's also been classified as being of national importance for fisheries.
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, this is another example of the member only half quoting the report. What that report actually said in the summary was the Tukituki value was of medium value. That's the first thing. And the second thing was that report said that DOC accepted that NIWA's science was robust. And they were the reasons why they chose not to submit on the plan change issue.
Point of order, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table 2 documents. Can I say, first of all, they have been in the public arena, but not for nearly a decade, which is why I don't think they're readily available now. The first is a publication by the Department of Conservation, December 2004, identifying freshwater ecosystems of national importance for biodiversity, which includes the Tukituki catchment.
I'll put the leave together on both.
And the second one is called Water Bodies of National Importance, also from December 2004, published by the Ministry for the Environment, which also includes the Tukituki catchment.
Leave is sought to table 2 documents, one a document 2004 and a Ministry for the Environment 2004. Is there any objection to that being done? There appears to be none. Those documents can be tabled. Honourable Dr Nick Smith, point of order.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave of the House to table a email between senior DOC managers on the 30th of July in which it makes plain that the senior managers were not convinced of the merits to submit on the plan change and that none of them on the Tuesday after I'd had the meeting, had actually seen the 34-page document.
The document's been well explained. Is there any... the Leaver sought to table that particular email. Is there any objection to that being tabled? There is none. It will be tabled. Point of order, the Honourable Ruth
Could I
Dyson.
just ask for your consideration in relation to documents where leave is sought to be tabled, and it's particularly in relation to previous emails which the Minister sought to table after my request because he had been quoting from it. The document that was actually tabled was not the document referred to as 3 emails between. In fact, so much had been deleted from one of the emails, not just the identifying points, that it was not comprehensible. So I seek your guidance about when documents are sought to be tabled, whether those actual documents have to be tabled or whether it has to be identified that large chunks of them have been removed.
On this occasion, I will allow the Dr. Smith
Mr.
to speak
Speaker,
to
both
that
with the
point of order.
documents I tabled earlier and the documents I seek to table today, the only thing that has been removed is the names of the dock staff, and the reason I do that is it's perfectly proper for us to have a good old robust in Parliament, but I do think we owe some protection of the privacy of dock staff.
Well, no, I need no further assistance. Can I just say to the Honourable Ruth Dyson, who raised the question, I suggest she looks at Speaker's Ruling 1495, which basically says that if any member seeks to table a document which grossly misleads the House in the description of that document, then it could potentially be a breach of contempt, and then members know the means to follow that up. Question number 5, the Honourable Phil Heatley.